Durdle Magic. Thank you for tuning in to Durdle Magic. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you like the content you see here today, and leave a like and share the video with someone you might think is interested. Leaving those likes really helps us out, but another way to help us out is by using our TCG Player affiliate link below. If you're looking for singles, sealed product, or gaming accessories, please consider using our link to support the channel. We also have some playmats at inkgaming.com. Go ahead and hit the link in the description to check those out. Alright, let's grab some spells and Durdle with some magic. Hello and welcome back to Durdle Magic. Today we're playing some Zagras Thief of Heartbeat starring off our Zendikar Rising series. I think that's the right word. 4 black-red for a legendary 4/4 Vampire Rogue. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. Flying, Death Touch, Haste. Other creatures you control have Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. A little bit extra text there I always like to see on some cards these days. Teferi has been traumatizing to me. Looking at our opening hand, I don't really like it. We have red, no black, and not a lot of follow-up. Not any, actually. Let's go ahead and take the free mulligan. New hand. Again, not a lot of follow-up. We're probably going to have to mulligan down to 6 at that rate. Next hand. At least we have a black source. Still not a lot of follow-up, though. We do have Mazizium Mortars, so I guess we'll get rid of the Brash Taunter and see what happens here. Alright, let's go ahead, risk keeping it. Probably not the best idea ever. Let's go ahead, get rid of the Brash Taunter. Alright, so we do have Mazizium Mortars as a play if we need it. Dead of Winter isn't going to do anything right now. Arcbond, not going to do anything. Daggercaster, not going to do much. So, reviewing our commander a little bit. It does have the party mechanic. There are a few party members in the deck, but that's not the focus. The focus is actually on the Death Touch. Thornwood Falls coming into play for our first opponent, who happens to be K&T of M, Kynaios, and Tiro of Macleod. So this is a non-black creature, so it's red, green, white, blue. For a legendary 2/8 human soldier, at the beginning of their end step, they draw a card. Then each player may put a land card from their hand onto the battlefield, and if they don't, they draw a card. So the K&T player gets to do both. The opponents all get to pick just one. I buy you in a Soul Ring into play for our next opponent, who is Skullbriar the Walking Grave. Okay, I saw one of these in testing. It didn't really much do anything. I think the game got like bugged out or something, so I'm interested to see how this goes. Unfortunately, Skullbriar can be a major threat very quickly. Forced into play for our third opponent. It looks like we're going last. It's always a sad face. Let's cover Skullbriar real quick. Is a green-black, or a black-green rather. Zombie Elemental Legendary, of course. 1/1 with haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put 1/1 counter on it, and counters remain on it as it moves to any zone other than a player's hand or library. Very good with all the new Ikoria stuff. We get, on our turn, Grim Haruspex. Let's go ahead and play the command tower, tap it down, and pass. Grim Haruspex good for the card draw as we sacrifice or kill creatures. That'll be nice. So our last opponent is Sigarda Heron's Grace. 3 green, white for legendary 4/5 angel. Flying, you and humans you control have hexproof. 2, exile a card from a graveyard, from their graveyard specifically, sorry. Create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Haven't faced one of those before. I've much, Host of Herons is something I've faced a bit more of. K&T had a Sulphur Falls come into play for them tapped. We have Skullbriar coming down for that player after a snow-covered swamp drop. It has haste, it will be attacking somewhere and something. We have Skullbriar on the attack into Sigarda. Skullbriar taps down the Soul Ring, lets the mana dissipate. Not going to do anything with it this turn. 1 damage is good to Sigarda. Skullbriar gets its counter. Plains into play for Sigarda. Sigarda taps down their mana and passes. We get Skull Clamp on our turn. That will be good later. For now, let's just... should we kill Skullbriar right now? I think we ought to, because if we wait like one more turn and it gets a bunch of extra stuff on it, then it will be way out of our kill range for stuff, so... Let's just nix that in the butt for now. They'll have to spend at least a little bit extra mana. Didn't really get rid of the counters because of Skullbriar's innate ability. But I think that was the right move. Over to K&T. The extra card draw from them in this game is probably going to be pretty clutch for us, considering we do have 2 draw engines, but not a way to use them yet. And we desperately need some more lands. Very risky hand I kept. It does have 37 lands in it, plus some other mana sources, so I'm not entirely sure what is happening with that. Temple of Abandon into play for K&T. My mistake, it has 36 lands. I thought I had corrected that. Unfortunate for me. But it does have a bunch of mana rocks, so hopefully we'll draw a land or one of them. Folio of Fancies. Players have no maximum hand size. Okay, so this might be the milling K&T that I've seen a few times. I don't remember who played it, but this could be something. Although the extra card draw will be nice. Each player draws 0 cards. They went ahead and activated it for 0. So, dang, no lands off of that. Sadness. Over to Skullbride's turn, they can easily resummon their commander. So I imagine we're going to get the hate off of that, but that's okay. Want to give the other guys a little bit of time to develop before we get on the ping engine, rather. So back to what I said earlier, the Death Touch Lordness of our commander is interesting, so I added a bunch of pinging creatures. They're not the best, but something like this that hits just about everything can wipe the board. So it does make the deck a little bit cheaper than not, and some of them, like this one over here in our hand, is a rogue, so it will contribute to the party reduction on the cost for our commander. I mean, he could potentially just cost black and red to summon. We could get to Magical Christmas Land. Unfortunately, it looks like the Skullbride player has disconnected. I hope that whatever disconnected them is a minor issue. Alright, off to Sigarda's turn. That's unfortunate that Skullbride left. It didn't seem like it was their choice. We did get the disconnect notification, nothing in chat, so hopefully they can fix that problem and return to play some Magic at a later time. Elvenwald Mysteries into place for Sigarda after Canopy Vista. Comes our turn, we get Snow Crater Mountain, yay. Extra land draw stuff, love it. Let's go ahead and play the Grim Haruspex just so we have a blocker up just in case of things. Grim Haruspex to the battlefield and pass. Notably, it is a human in case that matters this game, so we'll keep an eye on that. To K&T's turn, let's see what they do. Yep, 4th land into play. Ooh, Sky Cloud Expanse. So this one's, what, some of the, like, quote-unquote signet lands they have been making in the recent commander decks. I don't think it was in the very last ones, though, for Zendikar. I'd have to double-check the list. K&T coming down for that player. I do love this commander, but now that there's 4-color Omnath. Second main, Folio Fancies activated for 0. We will draw 0 cards. Gotta get all those phantom lands. K&T will trigger on the end step. Let's go ahead and say no to playing a land, so we'll draw a card. Duskfang Mentor, so this one gives lifelink. I do have a little bit of a lifelink sub-theme in here. It's not like like really fleshed out thing, but I thought it'd be interesting just to give something lifelink, especially if we have a pinger. Sigarda's turn, Forest didn't play for them. Crows and Verge could be activated, or they could summon their commander. What I really like about Crows and Verge is it does tap to add colorless, so it's not just comes into play tapped, fetch some lands, and that's all you do with it. Sigarda Heron's Grace into play for that player. So they have hexproof now. That is unfortunate. That means we can't ping them to death. Frontier Warmonger for us. Let's go ahead and play the Skull Clamp and equip it. Not much else we can do at the moment. And we'll pass it off. Also notably, our Grim Haruspex is a human wizard. So if we can get the rogue down, then we can cast our commander without any extra lands. So that's nice. We also have a human warrior here and a cleric here. Over to K&T. Folio Fancies is for 2 this time. We draw 2 cards. Hey, snow-covered lands. Alright, so Dead of Winter slowly coming online. I can like that. We'll probably need the match removal against Sigarda. To the end step, K&T will trigger. Let's go ahead and draw the card. We get Bajuka Bog. That could be useful later. Tireless Tracker coming down for Sigarda. Not a bad card at all. It wasn't this like super expensive and then they reprinted it and it's still pretty expensive. I'll have to go double check that, but I'm pretty sure this has been popular throughout a number of formats. Landfall, basically. They get to investigate. Crows and Verge cracked for the Sigarda player. Tireless Tracker will trigger. They only get 1 land with it though, which is unfortunate. You can get a Plains card and a Forest card. So that's interesting. Oh no, I guess they got 2. I guess the other one was a Plains. All that white makes me worrisome about it, like an Avacyn. I'm not particularly fond of seeing that. Sigarda to their attack phase. Let's see if they go anywhere. I imagine they would. Probably into us if I had to wager. Oop, no attack. I can live with that. To our turn, we get Dualcaster Mage. That will come in handy later. Also a wizard. I did try to stock it with enough party members to make it viable. So, the swamp into play. What do I want to do? I want to get down... Let's get down the Frontier Warmonger. No, let's get down... Yeah, Frontier Warmonger. I want to save the lifelink for later. And this will reduce our commander's cost next turn. Then we can drop a Dagger Caster and wipe the board. Seems pretty good. Off to the opponent's turn. K&T. Let's see what they do. They did miss a land drop, so I'm interested in that. Sigarda out-ramping us, of course. Taiga into play. There's a land for him. Assemble the Legion. That's going to be problematic. We do run the new Feed the Swarm in here, so we can destroy it and take 5 life. But we'd have to draw it first. We also have Chaos Warp, and I think we have either Meteor Golem or something else. I'd have to double check, but I think those are our only enchantment removal sources in the deck. KNT will trigger. Let's go ahead and put, I guess, just a Bajuka Bog into play because it's not really going to do anything at this point. So we'll just target KNT because we can't target Sigarda and call it a day. By the way, if you didn't see my video about Feed the Swarm, I will link it up here. Land into play, Taurus Tracker triggers. Another clue for Sigarda. Briar Bridge Patrol. Alright, let's see what that does. 3/3, hexproof, of course, from the commander. It deals damage to one or more creatures. Investigate. At the beginning of each end step, you sacrifice 3 more clues this turn. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Tomio's Journal. There you go. So now they have a tutor and they can put a creature card from their hand onto the battlefield. Sad face for us. Look at all those beautiful triggers. Nice synergistic deck. I'm glad I got to play against it. It looks pretty interesting. 1, 2, 3 humans with hexproof. And there's the tutor after the Tireless Tracker gets to be a 6/5. That's pretty good. Luckily for us, we have a board wipe in 2 turns, but we're going to have to get to that board wipe. Might be a little bit difficult. 2 Sigarda's combat. Let's see if they send the guys anywhere. Only Tireless Tracker and Sigarda can attack, but they are relatively large. Briar Bridge Patrol will trigger, though. They will get a creature from their hand into play if they have one. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Urgh. I love Shalai, but man, I'm sick of seeing it. It's like a love-hate relationship, really. Alright, we get Goblin Sharpshooter. That can also wipe the board if they didn't have hexproof. Let's go ahead and play the Snow-Covered Mountain. And then I really wish we had like a 2-drop to follow up, but I suppose we'll just play our commander and wait for next turn. Zagras costs 2 less because of the party mechanic. Into play, let's just go ahead and pass. At least we have a blocker. Over to KNT. Assemble the Legion will trigger, and I'll stop saying that until it's destroyed or removed. 1 soldier into play. Vision Schemes. Each player draws 2 cards. Okay. I'm so glad that wasn't a wheel. Fiery Confluence and a land. Fiery Confluence will be okay against the tokens. That's not too bad. Copy Enchantment. Alright, that's pretty self-explanatory. What are they copying? Assemble, I suppose? Yep, there's another Assemble the Legion. So we are running against tokens pretty hard right now. Folio Fancy is being activated for 0 in the second main. To the end step, KNT will trigger. Let's go ahead and drop a land this time. Drop the Snow-Covered Swamp into play. Make sure we have Dead of Winter ready to roll when we need it. Over to Sigarda's turn. So let's see how things go. They could very easily have some kind of protection or heroic intervention by now. That would be something I might have tutored for, depending. It could also have, you know, a Crater Hoof, which is boring but wins you a game. Champion of Lambholt. Oldie but a goodie. I do love that card a lot. Helps me win a lot of games. Thalia's Lieutenant. Each creature will get a 1/1 counter when it enters the battlefield as long as they're human. And whenever another human enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. So it makes everybody bigger, and then there's payback because it's such a nice, swell guy. Or girl? I can't tell. Can't tell at all. It's a nice person. Alright, to the attacks. They have an army ready to go. Let's see if it goes anywhere this time. Alright, for attacks, just the Briar Bridge Patrol into us. That is unfortunate. Yeah, I think we'll just take the 4. I don't feel like trading with it right now. We can just drop Daggercaster next turn and wipe their board unless they have Heroic Intervention, which would suck. Comes to us, we get Rakdos Charm. That's interesting. Later on, it could be a possible win condition against the token decks. It can also remove the graveyard or destroy some artifacts. That's nice. So let's go ahead with the original plan. Call them on the Heroic Intervention if they have it. Daggercaster to the stack. Daggercaster into play. It triggers. It has Death Touch. Let's wipe the board. All the things die. Death Touch for the win. Alright, they get to investigate 6 times. That means they'll get 6 clues. Might have to destroy the Tamiyo's Journal with the Rakdos Charm. So, do I want to go ahead and do that? No, not yet. They'll probably just tutor back out something. I'd rather have them waste the clues, because they'll just do it in response anyway. So, let's go ahead and play the Duskfang Mentor. Give something lifelink so we can get a little bit of our stuff back. I guess we'll put on the Zagras, since it can attack. Now, it does say you have to put on a non-human, so there's that. Let's go to attacks. Alright, so I want to send Zagras into KNT and the other 2 into the Sigarda player. Yo! So, Sigarda in chat saying that they could have saved their team, they forgot about the Death Touch. So, a sneaky little thing Daggercaster is. Damage is good everywhere. KNT takes 4 Commander, Sigarda takes 8 down to 30. Let's pass it off to our opponents. 2 KNT's turn, 2 Assemble the Legions will trigger. That means they'll get 2 tokens for the first one and 1 for the second one. Propaganda, that's not going to be good for us. 2 we have to pay if we want to attack them, per creature we attack them with. Mirror Mage, so that's another enchantment copier. Or artifact if they want. I imagine Propaganda. Yep, Propaganda is the copy. That's gonna be difficult. Foil of Fancy's activated again for 0. KNT end of turn. Looks like we have a Tamiyo's Journal activation. Yep, 3 clues are sacrificed. They'll make 3 tokens. Down to Tamiyo's Journal on the stack. They go to tutor a card from their deck before the draw. So that'll be nice for them. They'll be at 7 cards in hand when they go past their draw step. Cool to play on the upkeep. They get yet another human token. They sacrifice a clue to draw a card. Ooh, sorry, it's their turn now. Alright, so we're sitting at 5 tokens that can attack. Another clue will come into play. There's the same triggers again. They'll get 3 more tokens and go to tutor out yet another card. Austere Command, destroy all enchantments and destroy all creatures with converted mana cost, greater than 4. Alright, we'll get some card draw off of it, but we are losing 3 of our guys. It's a sad face. We'll return our commander to the command zone. We don't have any recursion for it just yet. Grim Horror Specs will get 3 cards off of it. Volshock Sorcerer, a Snow-Covered Swamp, and a Snow-Covered Swamp. Thraben Inspector coming to the battlefield. It will investigate, creating a clue token. So, looking at our opponents, 36 life and 11 cards in hand for KNT, 30 life and 8 cards in hand for Sigarda, and we are at 40 life with 9 cards in hand. It is a very well-stocked game. Comes to our turn, we get a Snow-Covered Mountain. Let's go ahead and play a Snow-Covered Swamp in the meantime. So, they do have Heroic Intervention in hand is something I wager. So I do want to play the Dead of Winter. Problem is I can't control what X is without, not dropping land. So X is 5 right now. That would wipe our board. So I'm thinking we go ahead and attack. Maybe get some cards off the Grim Horror Specs. And then we do Dead of Winter. So let's go to the combat. Grim Horror Specs into KNT. And we'll attack Sigarda with the other one because why not? Alright, we have a block out of the Sigarda player, so it looks like KNT is just going to take the 4 from the Grim Horror Specs. That is unfortunate, but it's going to die anyway. We'll get 2 cards off of it. To the second main, let's go ahead and play our Dead of Winter. All non-snow creatures get -X till end of turn, where X is the number of snow permanents we control, and that is 5. Let's see what kind of response we have out of Sigarda, if anything. Nothing. Heroic Intervention would not have worked. Skull Cramp triggers, Grim Horror Specs will trigger. We'll actually get 3 cards. Nice and nifty. We get Grenzo Havoc Razor. That should be interesting. Jessica and Black Market. Black Market could be really good for us. So, what do we want to play? Black Market could be good. Jessica's a warrior. Grenzo is a rogue. Otherwise, we don't have anything besides Lucaster as a wizard. Let's go ahead and get down our Black Market, I think, since the board is clear at the moment. And then pass it off to our opponents. Ooh, Light Minefield coming down for the KNT player. Whenever one or more creatures attack, this deals damage equal to the number of attacking creatures. So the, okay, so the token player, Sigarda, they just got all their guys, destroyed. Ooh, Foil of Fancy's being activated. We will mill cards equal to our hand size, which is currently 10. Sadness. Alright, we have a lot to look at. Let's see, Challenger's Insight, Geode Golem, Lux's Warhammer, Detection Tower. Sever the Bloodline would have been super good. Judith, This looks like more than 10. Definitely looks like more than 10. Let's see, Deadwinter, Grim Harvest. So we had 6 in the graveyard, and we're up to 24. I'm somewhat confused by that, but okay. Let's reread the card real quick. Each opponent meals equal to the number of cards in their hand. Yeah, so we have 10. Sometimes the math on this game is just weird to me. Really weird. I had a I think it was Brutaclad, where I was testing it, and there was a Brovak, the Grandiloquent, and they went to mill me. Should have been like 10 cards or something, and it milled me for like 36. I'm like, I don't even know how that's working right now. Not even a clue. Over to Sigarda's turn. Tamio's Journal did trigger. They got another clue. Angel of Glory's Rise. All the humans are going to come back after all the zombies get exiled. That was a really clutch card in my casual Kudro deck. I'll look that up top if you want to go check that out. Oh god, look at all those triggers. Okay, yeah, we'll just skip through this. I'll see you on the back end. Okay, we are on the back end of the opponent stacking up their triggers. There are a lot of triggers. We have Eternal Witness first up. Heron's Grace Champion coming down. Thraben's Lieutenant. Thraben Inspector. Champion of Lambholt. Juniper Order Ranger. And if we just go over here, we have a number of Mentor of the Meek triggers. More Champion of the Parish triggers. Oh. And, you know, lots of stuff. Let's just go take a look at the top here. Let's also go ahead and yield to a bunch of this stuff. Alright. I believe we should have yielded to everything, so let's see if that goes. Anyway, the creatures are going to be absolutely huge. Luckily, there's no haste over there. Unfortunately, Rakdos Charm is not going to do much for us to get them down into a lethal zone where we can even bother to kill them, and our removal, as such as it is right now, is not going to help. K&T might be the only person we can depend on here, and we did say that if they destroy the propagandas, that we would get rid of... we'd attack them. So, there's some problematic politics going on now. Alright, the stack is empty. So I just realized we can kill them. We can do Rakdos Charm with the mode, creatures deal 1 to their controller, and copy it with Dualcaster Mage. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be doing here. So, yeah, gotta wait till our turn to do it, but at least it gives us an option to victory and save our butts. You know, as long as they don't recast July, which is always problematic. Or their commander, which would also be problematic. Alright, they're going to go search for another card. That's unfortunate. So at this point, I bet they're searching for probably a Teferi's Protection. I would say Lapse of Certainty, but Teferi's Protection in this case would just be so much better. Sigarda finds their card, goes to combat, no haste, thank the gods. Thank the Chaos Lords. Thank whoever you want to thank, but thankfully they don't have haste. Briarbridge Patrol at the beginning of the end step, it'll trigger. Into play we have Imposing Sovereign. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Well, that's that for people who need to defend on creatures, kind of like us. Black Market will give us some extra black mana, which will be, unfortunately, 0. Okay, so the plan is I want to play Fiery Confluence first, destroy the Journal, get that out of the way, but we need to play this mountain here, so we can have the extra red I need for both the Rakdos Charm and Dualcaster Mage, so we need 5 red. So let's tap black, black, red, red, and play Fiery Confluence, cast. We will deal 2 damage to each opponent twice, and destroy 1 target artifact, which will be the Journal. Journal down. That works. Our opponents take 4 each. Alright, I was hoping to maybe bait out a Teferi's Protection, but let's go ahead and see what we can do about things. Rakdos Charm, each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Okay, it didn't give me a chance to respond to that. Why? I haven't auto-yielded. Why didn't it let me respond? That is a bunch of crud. Okay, well that kind of ruins all the plans I had. So, I guess we can play a blocker and hope for the best? Doesn't seem like the best at all. I guess we'll play Goblin Sharpshooter. If for some reason we survive, we can wipe the board. Alright, let's pass it off. Over to K&T's turn. To say I'm a little bit blood boily about not being able to copy my Rakdos Charm is understatement, just a little. Time Sprawl. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into the library and draw 7 cards, untap up to 6 lands for the K&T player. Okay. That is unfortunate. Oh, we have a response out of Sigarda. What is it going to be? Make a stand. Creatures you control get 1/0 indestructible until end of turn. Man, so it wasn't a Teferi's protection as far as we know so far. Still really irked about that dual caster mage thing. I don't know, the priority went to the Sigarda player, and then our spell just spontaneously resolves after they pass back. Because when we did the Reckless Charm, it went straight over to the KNT player, which is where I thought I would have been able to respond to it. And yeah, it wasn't there. So I thought, okay, maybe when it comes back to me, I'll have a chance to respond to the spell on the stack, but I guess it just passed the priority for us and it went to resolve. KNT coming back down for that player. Good luck to him. I think we're all going to be dead here in a sec. We'll choose to put Blood Crypt into play, tapped. Don't want to take any extra damage at the moment. Over to Sigarda. Let's see what they do with it. 7 cards in hand, currently 10 life. Could have been 0 or negative, but... ugh. Landed play, Tyro's Tracker will trigger for him. Sigarda saying I should have held control to keep priority. I've never had to really before, but I will keep that in mind for the future. I've heard about that before. It really hasn't been too much of an issue, maybe 2 other times, so I thought maybe I was just misunderstanding the architecture. Devout Captain exiling the Light Mine field. That's pretty good to have removal on a stick. Sorry, Devout Chaplain and KNT scoops it there. Alright, we'll let our Sigarda opponent have. They played a good game with a human tribal deck. I can dig it. Next time I'm going to have to remember about control, apparently. Must have been my bad, although I still am not entirely sure. Vanquisher's banner. I guess the words are appropriate. Coming down for the Sigarda player. I imagine they're choosing human. Alright, let's just take it to the face. Old and Old Mysteries into play for the Sigarda player. That must have been something that shuffled back in. I think we had that before, didn't we? Yeah, it's the one that creates the tokens. A number of other triggers, a clue gets sacrificed. Here comes a bunch of other triggers. I'll probably see you on the back end of this after they're done powering up their army to make us into a fine pasty dust. That doesn't make sense. Into a fine dust on the wind. Sigarda on the attack. Let's see if they're going to swing with everything. Let's see, we're at 40. Yep, there goes everything. Right click all. Okay, bask in the glory. Bask in the fact that we had to be pasted and then ground into a fine dust. All to be defeated because our power is so overwhelming. Yeah, anyway, good game to our opponent. Messed up the play, what can I say? Most likely my fault, as much as I'd love to blame the computer and the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck. Alright, here's the deck. So, decks that go wide against us. Problematic. We have a bunch of pingers in the deck. We have, our guy gives Death Touch everything, which makes them basically removal. So that's great. Unfortunately, go wide decks seem to kill us. We did run into a lot of our board wipes, so might have to add 1 or 2 depending. But here's the deck so far, and I want to go over that with you. For pingers, I did add, what is this, Combage Witches? Something. Who knows how to pronounce this even? I don't even know. 1, Yards by one of my favorite artists, Seb McKinnon. Shout out to you. And it's a pinger, and it can be political. It'll probably backfire most of the time, but I wanted it in. I know I said in my previous video that I was going to run Wretched Boon, I think is the card. I decided not to. It's like the only counter spell I had in here for the lulls, and one of counter spells don't quite work. Getting back on track, we also have things like Volshock Sorcerer, who has haste, which is very good. Cercera the Bold, which can be like a card draw engine. Deathbringer Thoctor, which you can take off counters to ping something, and then if it dies, it gets a counter. It also essentially can clear the board like Goblin Sharpshooter. We have Brash Taunter in the deck. I'm probably going to replace this with something that has a little bit more power. It does cost 3, it fights something, it can redirect the damage, all that's fine. But I'm probably going to take this out. It's just when you're casting something for 5, if you don't have this, if you don't need it, it's not worth it in the 5 slot. We also have things like Kimono Master Yamabushi, Exile stuff, and this was actually one of the first rares I ever had in Magic, so props to that. Chandra's Inferno, and then likewise we have Arc Bond. So we do have a lot of mass removal, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I think we have 6. Let's go ahead and take a look. In Garrick's Wake, we have Dead of Winter. Technically, Sever the Bloodline is really good against tokens, although we won't count that here. Chandra's Ignition, can't talk. Blasphemous Act. Arc Bond, technically. Fiery Confluence, technically. So yeah, I think I still might want to add 1 more. We also have Mazizian Mortars, which unfortunately got wasted early in the game, with Skullbriar leaving and disconnecting. such as that happened. So, sad face. So we do need something to take down wide boards, and we need something to take down large boards. As far as mana goes, yeah, unfortunately only 36 lands up here in the top left. Yeah, I thought I fixed that. I guess I didn't. Otherwise, we do have the Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Signet. We also have Talisman of Indulgence and Thematic Compass. I just put Thematic Compass in just about everything. It's just good. Gets lands out of your deck. I think I even put it in some green decks, which is, like, just weird. Other than that, we only have one other thing that gives Death Touch in the deck, which is Onyx Mage, besides, like, something like Basilisk Collar, which also does it. So maybe also increasing that by, like, 2 slots might also be good. Anyway, here's the deck. Hope you enjoyed the game. Unfortunately, it didn't go quite as we planned, but live and learn, live and learn. So, if you saw any cards in this video you want to purchase for yourself or your paper collection, or if you're looking for a sealed product from upcoming sets or current sets or past sets, and you might want to purchase some sleeves to protect any cards you crack from there, go ahead and consider using our TCG Player affiliate link in the description below. Helps out the channel, doesn't cost you anything extra. Again, I hope you enjoyed the game. Again, good game to our opponents, and I will see you on the next game for this series featuring Zagras, Thief of Heartbeats. Thank you for coming to Durdle with us today. Hit that subscribe button and go ahead and hit that notification bell so you're always up to date with our latest videos. Please leave a like and share the video with somebody who you might think is interested. We also post links to our videos on Facebook and Twitter at DurdleMTG. If those are the forums you choose to use, please check us out there. Until we can Durdle with some magic again, see you around.